Welcome to chapter 98 of Memoirs of a Caucasian Straight White Middle-Aged Male. How was your week, guys? How was it? Mine was good. If you must know, alright, today is only okay. Because I realized why. My mood is weather dependent. Like, if it's sunny, hey, happy Luke, nice to meet ya. If it's raining, hey, don't look at me. Turn around, look the other way, stare at the wall. It's raining. Have some respect. I just don't care about ya if it's raining. Not that, but like I just realized this week that I've been an absolute delight to be around for 4 days, and then a disaster to be around for 3 days. It was sunny for 4 days this week, and it was shit weather for 3 days. Now, there is a direct correlation with me being a fucking delight and a ray of positivity than with the weather being sunny. I'm so nice to people. And that's such a terrible way to live your life, because it just means you're an asshole for 6 months of the year. I mean, I would have to move somewhere tropical to be a good person. And I'm sorry I've lost my voice. I don't know why. I haven't been doing anything wild. Apparently, I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh, I can't speak. And I looked outside and I was like, oh, it's raining. That's why. Goodbye. I sometimes just give up on the day. I'll wake up, open my blind, and I'll be like, huh, not today. And then I'll just close it. But if it's sunny, man, the world is my oyster. I didn't even like oysters, and I'm like, I'll try it. It's sunny. But if it's raining, dude, this is what I do when it's raining. I wake up. I'm sad, so I don't smile. I might see someone in my family in the morning, and I'll be like, hey. And they'll be like, hey, what's on today? And I'm like, I'm a comedian. Like, what? Nothing's on. I'm essentially a glorified house sitter at this point. It's like, today, it was like, I mean, I'm doing shit, but it's not like, you know, oh, I got to do a podcast. Oh, yeah? Where do you go for that? My lounge room. My couch. Also the place where I never watch TV. Because, you know, I'm watching that shit online, alright? I don't even watch TV. The only show I watch is The Bachelor, so... And I just watch that online. So, you know. Anyway, that's not the point. It doesn't matter. No one... This wasn't supposed to be about my TV habits. The point is, it's like, I'm sad, right? Point is, I don't have a life. But when it's happy and sunny, oh, what are you doing today, Lake? Oh, sorry, Lake, that's not my name. Sorry, what are you doing today, Luke? And I'm like, hey, guys, not much. Just, you know, doing the podcast. We're going to do it in my favourite place in the world, my couch. Aren't I lucky boy? Get to work from home. Oh my God, I'm such a delight. I just wish that I wasn't so weather dependent. I'm also even weather dependent on exercise as well. Like, I'll exercise indoors if it's shit weather, but I'll go for like a run and stuff outdoors if it's good weather. But lately I've been trying to suck it up, and I've been for a couple of chilly runs. But anyway, so that's how I'm going. So today I'm okay, because it's moderately overcast. It's not cold, but it's not hot. So I woke up this morning and I was like, to be honest, I didn't know how to feel about my day, but I'm doing it anyway. And nothing. What else has been going on this week? I've been telling it like it is lately, and I don't care about it. That's something I've realized about myself. I'm like, I'm telling it like it is. What? Luke, you're being rude. Nah, I'm being honest. Alright? But you can't say that to someone's face. I think you'll find I just did. And I'll explain, okay? I realize now when I'm about to explain, it's just going to come off as rude. I don't know. Sometimes, what it is I just can't help myself. And I'll think of a steamy diss or a hot diss, and it comes out. Not because I'm a comedian. I did this before I did comedy, right? If I think of a good call in my friendship group, boom, shots fired, I'm away. And I got heaps of mates like that. We all do it. It's part of our friendship group. You're just throwing round the disses until someone can't handle it anymore. and then we're not friends with them. No, that's what we do. That's what most friendships do, right? That's honestly, in 2018, what most friendships are. Is like, I'll diss you, you diss me back, I'll diss you, it's diss tennis. It's like, I don't want to even ask my friends how their day was. I don't care. The only reason why I might dig a little is so I can throw a steamy diss in there about their day. I'm not interested. And they don't care about mine. Why would they? We're friends. Dude, if you care about your friend's day, you're not really friends. That's small talk. Oh, how was your day? Good, not bad. Bzz, not friends. If you start off a conversation with your friends like, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened to me the other day. Boom, you're friends. Because you've skipped over all the other boring shit that happened and you've gone straight to the thick stuff, alright? You've hit the meat of that conversation within 2 seconds. Non-friends go, oh my God, how was your day? Yeah, not bad. So I woke up, had some Whippix. I do 7, just like Tim Cahill. And then I went and had a shower, boom, was washing my pits. Nice steamy clean there. And I'm just like, hey dude, we're not friends. Stop telling me about your pits, man. Any good friend leaves the amount of Whippix out, alright? Unless they're one of the Bix boys, then in that case, then tell me away. So Lewis and Mike G, then of course. But everyone else, hey, you're not one of the Bix boys, alright? I mean, I'm sure there's lots of Bix boys out there, but I got my inner circle of Bix boys. Anyway, that was an old joke from the podcast. I'm sorry for bringing it up if you knew. What was I saying? Oh yeah. If your friends talk about their pits and the way they showered, oh, and there was bloody traffic on the way here, boom, bzz, you're acquaintances. Step aside, because I got a friend coming through, and he's coming in through with some thick meat conversation. Alright? That sounded bad. But anyway, he's coming through with a convo that's hot and heavy, and that's the stuff they want to hear. Alright? Anyway, so this week, the point is, I've been making a point to cut to the chase. Alright? I'm cutting out the fat, and I'm saving so much time doing it. Man, the way Lewis and I chat is so efficient. I don't ask him about anything I don't care about. It's so efficient. I'll walk into the radio station. I won't be like, hey, what's up? I'll just be like, dude, guess what? And then just, boom, it's like you've cut 5 minutes of pleasantries out the way. That's saving time. Like, we are, by even talking to each other, I think we're gaining time. Like, to the point now where I got so much free time, I'm like, what am I going to do with all this free time? Tell you all about it on the podcast, alright? I got so much free time. That's what I would recommend to you guys this week. If I could recommend, maybe I should start doing that. Luke's recommendations. And I just recommend you try one thing per week and just see how it goes. I'm not saying it's going to make you friends. I'm not even going to say you're going to enjoy it. But I'm going to recommend cut the shit, alright, with your best buddies. Oh, how was your morning? Bzz, failed. That's shit. How was your morning? Yeah, it was fine. I woke up. Shut up. But it's like, if you're like, hey dude, my dog died. That's hot and heavy, but you're cutting to the chase. Alright, maybe don't do that with tragic news. Maybe do something like, hey bro, my dog did a poo the shape of a twisty. And then your friend will probably be like, isn't that all dog poos? And you'll be like, good point. And then you can just walk away. But it's better than spending 5 minutes going, how's the weather? How are the kids, honey? I mean, none of you guys, mates, probably have kids. I don't know how old the people listening to this podcast are. Hey, if your friends have kids, don't ask about that shit. No one cares about your friends' kids, alright? But even it's like, oh, you get my point. Cut the shit, right? So this weekend, I'm cutting the shit. And I was out at a bar, and one of my friends was like, oh, my boyfriend just broke up with me, and it was super sad, right? And I got a lot of respect for her, right? So I was being real nice, and then I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm the kind of guy where it's like, yeah, tell me your feelings. I love that. Great, because we're buddies. But at some point, you know that if you're going to come to me with that stuff, I'm going to throw down a hot diss, all right? It's all playful and fun, but it's going to come at you thick and fast, and if you don't dodge and weave, you're gonna get smacked in the face by my diss. All right. So I was kind of waiting for an opportunity, you know, like we were just having a bit of a D&M, deep and meaningful chat about, you know, life, relationships, and then there was an opening, right? It wasn't even a diss related to the breakup, right? I was like, no, that's too soon, I won't go there. This was just a diss in life, right? And I think when I tell you guys the diss, you'll be like, yeah, good diss, play on, game on. So she was like, we'll talk. She had a drink of my, she had a sip of my beer, and I was like, hey, whoa, drink your own drink. And then I saw it was wine, and I was like, oh, why would you drink wine? Because I'm not a wine man, right? And she's like, I drink wine. Wine makes me retarded. And I was like, oh, I thought oxygen makes you retarded. Bam, wham, come again, goodbye. What are you gonna do about it? All right, you giggle and it's play on. All right, the umpire goes, boop, doesn't stop and ball it up. Boom, conversation plays on. That is literally just a hot diss. Straight off the stove. All right, and this is what I think with throwing shade at someone, right? Playful shade like that, just with disses. Disses are like noodles, all right? If you wait too long, they get cold. So the way I do my disses, and it's the way I've always done it, is if it comes to my head, I say it, because the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be, right? Yeah, I probably could have come up with something better than that, but I thought oxygen makes you retarded. Boom, it's so quick that it becomes better to eat, right? It's easily consumable because it's hot, all right? If you wait for it if you leave it sitting there, all right, it's going to get cold, all right? And definitely don't put it in the fridge and store it for later. Those disses never work. It's why you can tell when some comedians have like pre-planned heckle comebacks. Dude, you're storing them in the fridge. You know, they've got like, oh, if someone says this, I could say this, and then, nah, boom, bzz, wrong. It's cold diss, all right? You've had it sitting there. It's been in the pantry, all right? I serve up my disses hot, all right? It's a hot diss. Man, and that's another thing. I do instant disses, like instant coffee, instant noodles. You know, like some people do 2-minute noodles. I do 2-second disses. I'll be like, wine makes me retarded. What else? Oh, oxygen. Boom, because you breathe that in every day. That's the joke. Cop that. All right? That's what I've been trying to do this week. I've been not holding back. And yeah, has it made me any new friends? Absolutely not. I'm a terrible person. Has it made a few people giggle in the process? You know it. That's what I do best. All right? It's literally my job. And sometimes I enjoy that for leisure on the weekend. All right? I train how I play. All right? I can't help myself. All right? It's hard to turn it off. No, I'm not saying that it was that funny. I'm just saying just that muscle in your mind that's constantly serving up disses. You know what I thought of this week? Sometimes I'm just walking around the house and I'm thinking of random disses, right? But instead of storing them in the fridge and those disses get cold and unusable, because no one likes a reheated diss, all right? It's like when you get fish and chips and your mum goes, oh, we'll just put the chips in the microwave for the next day. Have you ever had a reheated chip from a fish and chip shop? Oh my God. I'd rather, no, like I was about to say I'd rather and then something. There's nothing else I hate more. I mean, I don't know if that's a big call, because considering we live in a world where the Holocaust happened, but you get my point. I'm not saying, that was, no, you know what I am. Hot, look, no one quote me on this, but like, hot chips, okay, no, hang on. I'm going to phrase this because I know people will quote me on this. Reheated hot chips are worse than a genocide. Now, that comes from a place of privilege. I have never experienced a genocide, but I have experienced a reheated hot chip. So therefore, yeah, that's the place that comes from in me, you know. I'm sure maybe if I did experience a genocide, then perhaps I might be like, man, maybe reheated hot chips aren't as bad as I first thought. But until I experience a genocide, then hot chips have ruined my life way more than genocide has. Alright, because honestly, genocide has ruined my life. Like, I had to study it in history and stuff and do a few essays on it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of impacting me slightly. I mean, it's ruined my Thursday, but, you know, a reheated hot chip can ruin your week. So, anyway, I'm serving up dishes hot all the time was my point. But I don't put them in the fridge. You know those pie warmers at fish and chip shops or at like canteens or, you know, your local footy club or cricket club, and they got little 4 and 20 pies in there and the sausage rolls? That's where I store my dishes, so they're ready to be served hot. This is what I do. I don't know why. I can't help myself. It's why some of my videos online are just me. That's what my videos are. And that's what this podcast is. My podcast and videos and my whole career is just me grilling. It's literally just me throwing out burns to people, and like sometimes it might be Jacob Sartorius, other times it might be, you know, people who are on The Bachelor. All right, it doesn't matter what it is. I can't help myself. Okay, that's what I do, and it's what I do best. I completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh right, so I was going to tell you of a hot diss that I came up with this week. This is the diss, alright? And it's specific to someone who looks like an ugly version of Frodo Baggins. That is how many disses I come up with, that I'm just like, they're so specific that it's like, I've got a diss for every situation. It's like, oh, what, you look a bit like Ed Sheeran? Boom. Alright? I've probably got one. You know, it's in there somewhere. But if you look like a slightly ugly version of Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings, here's what I'm going to say. You look like Frodo Baggins if he dropped his head into Mordor instead of the ring. Boom, that's toasty. Feel the temperature on that? I'm sure there's someone listening to this right now who looks in the mirror every day and goes like, shit, I kind of look like an ugly version of Frodo Baggins. And to that, I say, hey man, you dropped your head into Mordor instead of the ring. Come back from that one. And that's another thing. I'm not trying to act like I'm up here on my high horse at all. No siree. What I love more than a hot diss is when it gets slammed back in my face. That makes me feel alive. Alright, there's not many things in life that really make me feel alive. But when I get my own shit just served, like aced, back into my face and it hits me right where it hurts, that is a rush. Alright? That's a feeling that you don't get much, which is why I go out there. Dude, sometimes at my shows, it happened the other night on stage. I was at this random gig at a pub. I said something, I forget what I said, and some guy, like, heckled me. I threw something back at him. Everyone laughed. I thought it was over. I was like, cool, this guy's got nothing. And then this dude, I totally forget what happened. I think he just like, man, what was it about? I don't know. It doesn't matter what it's about, but what was important was just the way he sat on it, and then within 2 seconds, he didn't wait for it to get cold. He just went kapow, and it boom, back at me, smashed me in the face, and I copped it. And I've never felt more alive, alright? There's nothing like getting humiliated in front of like 30 bloody bogans at a pub. That is the kind of rush you can only get with stand-up comedy. You know? What was I even talking about at the start? Oh yeah, just cut to the chase this week, guys, alright? That's what I'm doing. I'm just cutting the shit. You know, because you know, other times in my life, I might have thought of that oxygen joke and then been like, and then not said it, because I'm like, it's mean. She just went through a breakup. It's funny, but you know. And now I'm just like, hey, you know what? We're all friends here. It's just a diss. It's just funny. Boom. I threw it out there. Was it well received? Probably not. Will I do it again? You bet. Because I'm telling it like it is. Alright? no apologies. I mean, sure, I'll probably have to apologize for that thing I said about genocide during the week to someone. But until then, no apologies. Me and Lewis were talking about this the other day. We're talking about like the radio stuff, and Lewis's stand-up is like a lot edgier than mine, and we were talking about, and I was like, man, one day you're gonna say a thing that gets us fired, and then we both realized, I was like, nah, it's probably gonna be me, because like everyone knows that Lewis is like a bit edgier and stuff. So when I say something like pretty fucked up, like, hey man, reheated hot chips worse than genocide, that's going to catch people off guard. Alright? But what am I going to say? Oh, sorry, I stopped telling it like it is. No way. Alright? And I bet you everyone listening to this, maybe not everyone, 99% of people agree with me. And that's why I tell it like it is, alright? You think it, I say it. What else has been going on this week? I went to see a 4D movie. That was, I was going to say awesome. That was okay, because it was like 14 degrees that day. Would have been great if it was 25 and sunny, but nah, that experience was ruined for me by the lack of sun. My home phone always rings during the podcast. Shut up. Please stop ringing. I'm not going to get it. Just leave a message, and no one's going to check that either. Sorry about that, guys. I've been getting called, like, by, call centers and stuff on my mobile. That's only started happening in, like, the last year. It used to be like, oh, this is Thingo from Gas and Energy Company, but on the home phone. Now I get it on my mobile. That seems illegal. It's like, dude, you can't call my pocket. Like, for some reason, it made it okay, because you're like, oh, you're just calling my house. But it's like, dude, you're calling my left pocket right now. Get out of there. That's so invasive. It's so much more invasive when you get cold called from a stranger from, like, India on your mobile. Because it's like, dude, I don't know you, alright? You're like, oh, hello, we're from Telstra, we're based in California, but we make calls from LA. It's like, yeah, of India or whatever. It's like, dude, I don't know you, get out of my pocket, alright? And then I put my phone back, like, that's what I do. I pick it up, I don't say anything, and then I hang up, and then I block the caller. And I know that one day, in like 10 years, I will have blocked every number from every call center on my phone, and then I'll have peace. I'll finally have peace. Anyway, what was I talking about? I went to see a 4D movie. It was the Megalodon. It's that movie with Jason Statham about a 25-meter shark. Yeah. Have you thought something else you've seen this week was shit? You haven't seen Jason Statham harpoon a giant shark in the eye. Alright? A CGI shark just get pounded by a spear, and Jason Statham, like a 45, how old is that dude? I just know he's too old to be doing that shit. Jason Statham age. Hey, you know what's so weird? When you Google Jason Statham, the top 4 results are wife, age, and then height, then movies. It's like people care more about this dude's age, wife, height, and then it's like, oh yeah, and he's also an actor. He's 51 years old. Man, he's just younger than my dad. My dad is so far past harpooning CGI sharks in the face. Like, he had that time. You know what I mean? One time my dad went to Universal Studios and he he filmed some Klingon parody, right? You pay money and you dress up as a Klingon, and that's fine. He did that, but if he was doing that now, too old. Alright? He had that time in his life where he was like, man, maybe CGI acting is my thing. But 51 years old, and he's harpooning, he's fighting CGI sharks for entertainment. Man, God bless America. the thing is, I always get it. So I'm on some mailing list. I don't know why, because I just literally go to every film and then trash it. So I don't know why I'm still on this mailing list, right? But I'm on this mailing list of Village Cinemas, so I get invited to all these movie premieres. And usually, I went to the first couple. You know, we did it for the radio show, kind of as a joke. And then I don't reply to them anymore because I'm like, I don't want to go see that film, and I don't want to see that film. That's it. That's the why I'm not replying. But then occasionally one will come through that really piques my interest. And this one came through and it was like The Meg. And I was like, cool, never heard of that. It's probably a rom-com about a girl called Meg. And a crazy, wild, college friend Stacy. And Meg and Stacy meet two guys and they go on a road trip together. Turns out though, one of the guys is their brother and they don't know. That's what I thought. When you read Village Cinemas invites you to see The Meg. All that ran through my mind in a second and I was like, bah, don't want to see that. Not interested. Oh, but Rebel Wilson's in it. Seen a Rebel Wilson film before. I can picture it in my head. But then it said The Meg starring Jason Statham in 4D in the subtext of the email. And I was like, Village Cinemas, you have piqued my interest. So I opened the email and sure enough, it's not a film about Meg and her college friend Stacy who go on a road trip with two guys to Las Vegas and they win a bunch of money. I think I'm just describing the plot of what happens in Vegas. But anyway, it's not about that. It's about a huge shark in 4D. And this is why I was interested, because the last time I saw a film in 4D, it was not year 10, not at all. I was 10. I was 10 years old. I was in grade 4 and I went to Movie World and I went to Shrek 4D. And that literally sustained my interest for 12 years. 12 years I had fond memories of 4D because I was like, there's a bit where Donkey spits and then the water splashes, you get that Eddie Murphy saliva in your face. I love that. Alright? Shrek does a fart, a little bit of wind goes past. That's comedy. That is hilarious. Right? And that was good for 12 years. I had no interest to go back. But there was something in me that was like, man, it's been over a decade. I want to see if the technology has improved. And I also want to see Jason Statham fighting a 25-meter shark, because that sounds sick, right? So I went, it was on a Wednesday night. I went with one of my buddies, and because I always get a +1, because I would never attend that shit by myself. So I sometimes just invite mates, and they're always just rock up so confused, because you just get handed shit on the way in. They handed us this popcorn. Oh man, this popcorn sucked butt. It was the worst popcorn I've ever had. I know it sounds fancy, let's go to a movie premiere. Imagine going to a film with 100 strangers who you assume have Instagram followers, but you don't know who they are and what they do. And they're like that about me. They're like, who the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, it's mutual. You know what I mean? It's just it's a room with a bunch of nobodies mutually looking at each other like, I'm just here for the free popcorn. And then you eat the popcorn, you're like, this sucks shit. They put this green glazing over it to make it shark themed. It's like, we can't have regular popcorn. It must be aquatic themed popcorn. No, just give me some popcorn, right? So then me and my mate Dean, who I went with, we were like, there's no way we're eating this shit. But it was only on the top layer. And you might have seen this on my Instagram story. We just started throwing popcorn like children, like little toddlers, just picking it out and chucking it all over the cinema, because we were trying to get it all out before the cinema went dark, before the film started, because then we couldn't see. This green popcorn tasted so bad. I still have the taste in my mouth. It's been 5 days, and every now and then I'll swallow and I'll just get this taste of this green shit on the popcorn, and it makes me gag every time I think about it. So we're throwing popcorn around the cinema, in a cinema with adults that I've been invited to for free. And by the way, and I'm supposed to promote the film. When I go to these things, they go this is the official hashtag, make sure you tag. Dude, this is how I promoted the film. I filmed the screen that said the Meg on it, and then I filmed me throwing popcorn around the cinema. Alright? Don't invite me if you think I'm not gonna piff your gross aquatic popcorn. If you think I'm gonna sit there and politely eat your aqua corn, get out of here. Alright? You have another thing coming if you think I'm gonna sit there. Dude, it was so bad. But the movie was, I mean, you know what? Just because I want to get invited again, go see it. But for real though, you can give it a miss. Because I've already spoiled the best part of the film, which is right at the end. Where, but man, 4D, like, the main reason I went was just a curiosity of like, I wonder what the fourth dimension is. You know, like, we live in a world where it's like, you know, 2D is like, in my head, is like anime and cartoons. And I'm like, that's 2D. You know, 2D is like, I know paper is 3D technically, but you look at paper and you're like, that's about as close as 2D as you can get in a 3D world, right? It's super thin. But then you look at 3D movies and you're like, I get it because it's, you know, it comes out of the screen, it pops out a little bit. I get 3 dimensions, but I'm like, what's the fourth? You know, I know that there was going to be a bit of water maybe. The fourth is touch and feel. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, the fourth dimension is sensory stuff. I was mistaken. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth dimension is a slightly uncomfortable chair that sporadically sprays water at your face when you're least expecting it. The fourth dimension is a chair that simulates a child on a plane kicking the back of your chair repeatedly all the way to Perth for 4 hours. Just thumping your back, you know, you're like, oh, I should go see a chiropractor. Bang, no, that did the job. Thanks, mate. Because some bloody mother and father can't control their kid. I want a snack. Bang. Lower vertebrae. Fuck, control your child. Mom, are we there yet? Bang, another kick, straight to the spine. You're like, oh, suck it up, don't bring it up, it's gonna be okay. The kid's gonna fall asleep soon. 2 hours later, Mom, I need to go to the toilet. Gets up, crawls out of the seat. Boom, boom, boom. It's like, dude, this kid is a fucking black belt at ruining my back. Just kicking. Right? Clearly, I'm very scarred from one plane trip I had this year. It was horrible. Anyway, so I literally, that's another thing. I was in the middle of this movie, right? And there's a scene where this giant squid is like engulfing a submarine, like with all its tentacles, and it's squeezing in on the submarine, cracking the glass slowly. And it's pretty intense, but then to make it more intense for the viewer in 4D, your seat starts to like, feels like it's enclosing in on you. And I know you're supposed to be like, ooh, a squid, because it's like I'm in the submarine, but I just started having flashbacks to this flight of this kid just doing jiu-jitsu into my back for 4 hours. And I just got lost. Like, the whole point of 4D is to make you more immersed in the film. But I just kept getting so distracted thinking about, oh my God, I remember that flight. I never want to see that kid again. When that kid grows up, as soon as he turns 18, hope he gets put in juvie. Why? For being a naughty little shit. That's why. Oh, Luke, that's rude. Telling it like it is. And I couldn't concentrate on the film because there was another thing, like, whenever like there was a machine gun rifle, these little air pistons shot past your ears, like, and I was just reminded me of just like times when like it's been windy and I've been on a building and I've been like, oh, I might fall off. Just completely lost out of the film because this little thing shot past my ear and I can't stop thinking about anything else. But other than that, 4D was great, guys. Would definitely recommend. But yeah, 4D. It's not, look, the technology hasn't changed since Shrek 4D 12 years ago at Movie World. Hasn't changed. It's just like you see, like for example, when the submarine like crashes, you see just jostles up and down and goes like, it goes boom, 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 and you just sit there, you know, like it feels like you're sitting on a washing machine at some points, and it's like, dude, I'm so glad I didn't pay for this, because I've got aqua popcorn taste in my mouth. The chair is thumping my back, and now all I can think about is dark memories from my past. Great, awesome, 4D. What else did I do this week? It's almost the end of the pod. Oh, no, it's not. We're only 35 minutes in. I got more shit to talk about. I have an idea for a segment for the podcast, because I pitched this segment to the radio show yesterday, and everyone was like, maybe not. And I was like, okay, great. This is your loss because you don't know content. And I think you guys will agree. Huge loss for Luke and Lewis, but massive gain for the Memoirs of a White Guy community. Alright? I think the segment is called Luke's Hypotheticals, but it's a working title. It might change. But here's how the segment works. Occasionally, obviously you guys, even if you've just listened to this podcast today, you've already started to get some kind of understanding of how my mind works. Alright? And my mind works often by getting completely lost in a thought, and then snapping out of it. Someone goes, dude, are you okay? And I go, yeah, I was just thinking about, and then I realized that in my head, in like 20 to 30 seconds, I've invented like a 4-year dialogue of a situation that never happened, just to explain one thing. Now that's confusing, but I'm going to explain. The Luke's hypothetical of this week, I was out at a friend's birthday thing in the weekend. We were dancing in a bar, and all of a sudden, Justin Timberlake's Sexy Back comes on the screen. Right, I gotta get the song up. Sexy Back. I think I already had it pre-planned to get up. Here we go on YouTube. Justin Timberlake, Sexy Back Director's Cut. I don't get, before we start this, what does director's cut mean? You know, you always say that. It's like, oh, this is the special director's cut. Isn't the final film the director's cut? Isn't every movie ever the director's cut? Because he's the director. He was like, cut it there. That's the director's cut. Who cuts the film? Am I wrong? Does the director not cut the film? I thought he's the boss. Isn't he like the CEO of the film? He's the boss man, alright? If he doesn't want a shot to be in the film clip or the TV show or the movie, boom, the director cuts it, which means that just the normal version is the director's cut. Anyway, this is the song, right? If you don't know it, everyone knows the song. Yeah! And all of a sudden, I kind of just started slowing up my dancing. I was a bit out of it, and then 30 seconds later, my mate was like, you alright? And I was like, yeah, sorry, I was just thinking about how that song probably originated. And he goes, oh, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what the song's about. The song's about the idea of Justin Timberlake bringing sexy back, meaning like, you know, bringing his, a bit of flair, a little bit of sass, you know, just like he's bringing the idea of sex appeal back, because somehow it was lost, you know. And I think that's how most people interpret this song. They go, yeah, JT brought sexy back. Or did he? And this is the first Luke's hypothetical. I'm not saying this is correct. It's just a theory. Alright, maybe the segment should be Luke's Justin Timberlake theories, because I got a few of them. And I believe that sexy back is not about him bringing back the idea of sex appeal. I think if you actually listen to the lyrics closely, the song describes a situation in where Justin Timberlake has a little bit of a crush on a librarian and borrows a book called Sexy, and then in the chorus he returns the book to the library. And now whenever you listen to the song again, you'll never unhear that. That's a thing that you'll always hear forever. Okay, tell me I'm wrong. Alright, these are the lyrics. I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah, so that's him returning the book. And that's a kind of a prelude to, you know, him, you know, borrowing the book, right? But anyway, so he goes, the other boys don't know how to act. Of course, all the other library squad, they can't read as fast as Justin, alright? I think it's special what's behind your back, because the way he did it, he kind of was like trying to surprise the librarian, and he had the book behind his back, and he goes, oh, boom, behind my back. So turn around and pick up the slack. Yeah, and that's another book called The Slack. And when he returned it, the librarian turned around, picked up another title called The Slack. Didn't see Justin returning the book Sexy, right? It's a little confusing, but stay with me. And then he goes, Dirty Babe, right? Because the librarian's been working so hard in the library, she's got a bit sweaty because she's been putting so many books away. You see these shackles, baby, I'm your slave. And now that's not a sexual thing. That's a metaphor for what it's like to be a VIP member at a library. Because you feel like, well, you feel a bit constrained, you know, that society forces you to not have the book forever because you love reading so much. And then he goes, I'll let you whip me if I misbehave. Now that is sexual. That's a sexual library punishment. I know for a fact that sometimes back at school, when I didn't return Specky McGee on time, I get brought out the back for a little bit of a whip. And it's just that no one makes me feel this way, because he loves reading. You know, it was like when that bus used to come. I don't know if many schools had that, but our school sometimes used to have a reading library. I mean, we had a regular library, but occasionally this random library would come to our school, and bloody hell, I love that. And then anyway, so the song kind of goes on, like, come to the back, I'm VIP, because he's quite a regular at the library. And then it gets to the chorus again, and it goes, I'm bringing sexy back. So I'm in a bar with 200 people just dancing away. It's about 1:30 a.m. and I just stopped dancing, and I'm like, oh shit, everyone in the world has misinterpreted this song. People need to know. Snap out of it. My mate asked me, I explained the theory, and he just goes, you 100% spot on. Make sure that's a segment on your radio show tomorrow. So I pitched it to the radio show. Apparently, no one gives a shit about my Justin Timberlake theories. And all I ask of you guys is to prove them wrong. I don't know how you can prove it wrong. You can message Lewis being like, man, Luke's hypotheticals would have been a great segment, but he already did on the podcast. Too late. You can do that if you want. I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me. I have nothing to prove. Alright, but I also do that because I have everything to prove. That's my new segment, Luke's Hypotheticals. That's the first one. Justin Timberlake is actually a huge reading fan. He's returning a book called Sexy. That's why he's bringing Sexy back. Hey, that's the end of Luke's Hypotheticals. We'll be back next week with another episode of Luke's Hypotheticals. What did I want to talk about next? The Bachelor. I'm going to close the podcast each week with obviously regular Bachelor chat, because I know that some people may not be interested. And to that I say, fair enough. It's just a TV show. But also, not fair enough. It's the best TV show with the best host with the best hair. Alright? Alright, this week on the... What did I observe? So it's the first week of The Bachelor. Obviously, all the girls came in. A bit of a quick recap. The Bachelor this year is the Honey Badger, Nick Cummins, former Australian Wallabies rugby player, and I would say top shelf batshit crazy girls. I think. I mean, maybe I forget every year because towards the end, you know, obviously the crazy girls get knocked out by the end, and you're left with just, you know, the ones who seem really nice and genuine. So you kind of forget each year how crazy they all are at the start. I don't know, that's what I think. Because I was like, every year I seem to go like, man, these girls are way more nuts than last year. And you're like, nah, there's some nutbags every year. They just get weeded out pretty early. But in the early stages of the show is some of my favourite TV. Like, there was this one bit where there's this girl, like Kat, right? She keeps saying that to this other girl, right? She keeps saying... I forget who the other girl is. There's another girl who thinks she's... Oh yeah, Vanessa Sunshine, right? There's this girl called Vanessa Sunshine. She doesn't go by Vanessa. She goes by Vanessa Sunshine. And she ain't a ray of sunshine, alright? She's a piece of shit, alright? Telling it like it is. And she's a bad person. Like, I know like there'd be people who work on that show who are contracted to not say that. But I have no affiliation with Channel 10, so I can come out and say, there are a few terrible people on that TV show, alright, which is why they're on there. And there's this one girl, Kat, who keeps saying like, oh yeah, Vanessa's like so arrogant, she thinks her shit don't stink. She keeps saying it. She said it in the first episode, she said it like 4 times in the second episode. Oh, her shit don't stink. Her shit don't stink. It's getting to the point now where I'm starting to think that Kat just wants to sniff Vanessa's shit. Why you keep talking about her poo so much? You keep bringing it up. You could be like, there's other ways to be like, she thinks she's top shit. Such as, she thinks she's top shit. Or, she's arrogant. Wow, she's a bit full of herself. Oh, she's getting a bit ahead of herself. She's a little bit cocky. There's so many ways to say that, but she keeps going, Vanessa, honey, Vanessa think her shit don't stink, alright? She thinks her shit don't stink. And I'm like, why are you obsessed with Vanessa's fecal matter? Do you want to sniff it? Just honestly say it. At this point, I'd be less freaked out if you were like, Vanessa, I want to sniff your shit. Great. I'd rather people be open about what they want to sniff. Me personally, I want to sniff lavender. It's a good scent. Alright, and I'm open about it. But poo, nah. And the reason why I don't want to sniff poo is... Sorry, I just realised I was about to justify why I don't want to sniff poo on my podcast. And then I realised, it's poo. No one has to justify why they don't want to sniff poo. And I'm going to move on. The point is, this cat girl's like, she thinks her shit don't stink. Hey, cat, what's your problem with her shit? Alright? That's my first point from this episode. My second point, so cringe. Nick is on a date with this girl called Shannon. They're about to have a drink together, and then the date's going well, they're getting along, and sometimes you may, people who have watched the show will know that often, if the date's going well, he'll give her a rose, but he'll pull out a rose from like behind a couch. Maybe he'll have it in his jacket pocket. You know, he might pull it out from under a seat and be like, hey, this is for you. And the girl's like, oh my God, I can't believe it, or whatever. I feel like they're running out of places to hide the rose on these dates, because he wasn't wearing a jacket, he wasn't wearing a shirt. They weren't really sitting in a seat, they were on a towel. And I could tell that they were like, man, there's no way to hide this rose. So this is what he did. He was like, hey, we should have a coffee. And she goes, yeah, that sounds great. So he pulls out a thermos, right? Presuming it's full of hot water. He opens the thermos and pulls out a fucking rose. If I was the girl, I would have been like, I don't want your fucking rose flavored like hot water now. You've literally stained the water with your stinky rose. Alright, thank you for the rose. But then also, so we're not going to have coffee. They didn't end up having coffee. He just lied to her. He's like, we're going to have a coffee. And she's like, oh, thank God, great. Would love a coffee. And then he just pulls out a stinking rose. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. Thank you, but where's my rose? It was so cringe. The way he just was like, well, not him. That's the thing, it's not him. The way the producers of the show were like, this'll really impress her. A surprise rose from a thermos. Imagine if you like proposed to a girl and you were like, hey babe, do you want a coffee? And you're camping together and she's like, oh my God, I'd love one, babe. And then you just like, you pull out the thermos and then you pull out a ring and you just get down on one knee and she's like, were you keeping the fucking ring in the thermos? And you're like, yeah babe, it's called romance, alright? And it's not dead. Will you marry me? She'd be like, nah, but I'll take that fucking coffee though. You can't. Okay, this is my rule from now on, and this is another Luke's recommendations. You can't do a romantic gesture involving a thermos. Period. You can't do it. Alright? You can't be like, hey girl, I got you something special, and pull out a thermos. She's gonna be like, where is it? Is it behind the thermos? What's the surprise? This is the other thing I really want. I I want a blunt Bachelor one year. I love Nick. I'm going to say Nick so far is my favourite Bachelor of all time. It's my favourite season so far. It's great television. If you haven't watched it, please go catch up, alright? Oh, and another thing before I get into that. Someone had the balls, someone had the audacity to message me this week saying, oh man, I don't think Osher's hair is as good this season. Shoo. Skedaddle. Was it raining where you are? Because I don't like your negativity. Alright? It better have been raining. If it was sunny and you... Oh, dude. Man, that better have been a weather-dependent comment. Because that was uncalled for and unheard of. Alright? You know how I feel about that man. Alright? You know how I feel about that man's hair. It's perfect. Don't try me. And the dude did it before I got a chance to watch the episode. So I was out watching the 4D movie when the bloody Bachelor was on. So I had to go home and watch it that night when I came home. And in that time, I did say last week on the podcast, I'm not gonna check my phone. But I was like, let's be honest, who's gonna spoil it for me? I was like, no one's that shit. And then bloody get an old mate. Oh man, I don't think Osher looks as good this year. To whoever said that, your head is so far up your ass, it's not funny. It's because it's like, dude, are we watching the same show? Osher's never looked better. He's just come off the back of a Men's Health cover, alright? He was on the cover of Men's Health, pumping iron, alright? I'm going to go as far as saying Osher's never been in better shape. And to come out there with that kind of negativity, Ep1, straight to my Snapchat inbox before I'd watched the episode. That ain't telling it like it is. That's a downright lie, alright? He goes like, I'm sorry, man. I had to call it. I don't think he looks as good this year. And I was like, cool, dude. Everyone's right to have their opinion, except on that. Alright? If you have an opinion on that, that's not, he looks great, best he's ever looked, go wash. I think his hosting has improved as well because he's getting better as a TV personality and a human being. Listen to his podcast, you dog. Anyway, my point is, how dare you, alright? And take that negativity out of my inbox because I don't want to hear it, alright? I know there's a lot of people right now listening to this agreeing, going, yeah, I watched the Bachelor this week and Osher looked great, sounded great, he hosted great. Because you know why? It's what he does best. He shows up, he's impartial, and he's honest. Alright? That's what I like about Osh. He tells it like it is. Sarah, you did not receive a rose. Ooh, it's cold-blooded, but it's necessary. Alright? That's one thing that I would love to see Osher mixing it up. I would love to see Osher being like, Sarah, survey says you did not receive a rose. Get out. But it will be so good. He always goes, please take some time to say goodbye to the other girls, and you'll have to leave the mansion immediately, which is quite polite. But I'd love it one day if Osh was just like, girls, skedaddle, pack your luggage, and get out. And it's just like, I know it's cold, I know it's cold-blooded, but you know, depending on how the girl's been acting, you know, when he sends Romy home, oh man, I hope he gives her the bird. I hope he flips her the finger on the way out, because that would be telling it like it is. I know it's probably in his contract. You can't do inappropriate gestures towards the girls that could offend them in any way. Rip up the contract. Hey Romy, goodbye. If you guys don't know who Romy is because you don't watch the show, she's creep. She is a certified creeper. If there was a dude doing that on the TV, A, I don't think it would be aired, and B, he'd be in prison watching the show because what she did was creepy. She was like, I'm going to get in there with a kiss, and then she sucked the honey badger's neck. Alright, he's sitting there, and he was like, in his interview, he's like, you know, I was trying to take it slow, and then she just literally leans in, kisses him on the neck, but not in like a cute, flirty way, in like a, I'm going to leave a mark way, and I'm going to mark my territory, and I'm going to never let go. It was like when, have you ever seen like NASA spaceships locking to each other, and like then they create like an airtight shield so the astronauts can walk in between each one without dying? She created this airtight space between Nick Cummins' neck and her mouth so her saliva could just pass through it freely like it's in outer space. Alright? Oh my god. It was just like... And then she goes back to all the girls and goes like, we had this really genuine kiss. It was just so genuine and unforced. And you're like, you practically assaulted him on television. And then also on television, you're like, it was just so like, it just happened. Yeah, it happened. And literally Nick was pushing you away. If a guy did that to a girl on The Bachelorette, say goodbye. Say goodbye to your TV deal, alright? Say goodbye to your freedom, because you're going to be incarcerated. Alright? And rightly so. I was actually watching that going like, dude, this is the hectic double standards. But you know, it's all in bloody girl kissing a guy unconsensually. It's all in good fun. I think that's it. Oh yeah, the last thing. I just want to see, I think I alluded to it before, I just want to see a blunt bachelor. That's all I want. I want to see a bachelor who's just like, you know, like the thing that gets me is he's always in a conversation with like a girl at the cocktail party, and then and then it'll be just like the girl come over like and be like, hey, sorry to interrupt you guys, can I steal him for a second? And the other girl's always like, oh yeah, but she's always really cut. And then he's always like, oh, you're being rude, I'm tired. Like, he's in the middle of a conversation with someone, and then this rude girl goes, I'm so sorry, but can I grab him for a sec? I want a blunt bachelor to just be like, no, sorry. I'm actually in a conversation right now, you inconsiderate swine. Skedaddle. And her just go, oh, sorry. Telling it like it is. I want a bachelor, you know, I want a girl to be like, oh my god, wine makes me retarded. And he's like, I thought oxygen did that. And then they air it. That's what I want. Channel 10, if you want the ratings, get me to produce the show. Alright? I'll do it for free because I will be doing a favour to the Australian public. Alright? I'll get the juicy shit. I'll provide, hire someone who's going to tell it like it is. Alright, that's all you need to make that show go from 11 out of 10, which it currently is, to a 14. Alright, that's the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Please tell a friend if you enjoy the podcast, and I'd love it if you got other people on board. That's how this thing grows, and that's how we keep it going. On a serious note, what have I done this week? Didn't really update you all. I've done heaps of gigs. I've been smashing it lately. I've been writing some new shit. Lewis and I are trying to organise a cheeky trial show in the next couple of weeks in Melbourne, where we're just going to run some new gear. We do it every year where we try to, because Lewis is going on tour soon, and I've also been working on some new shit for next year. So watch out for that. We'll only be promoting that on our Instagram, Snapchat stories, because there's only 50 tickets available, we think. So we hopefully doing that. It's not confirmed yet. I've been working on some things for episode 100. Again, can't confirm or deny things, but there's some things in the pipeline. I'll keep you guys updated. I mean, next week is episode 99, so shit, I'm under the pump. Anyway, I'll let you guys know. But other than that, thank you very much for listening. Leave a bloody review, comment on iTunes. Let's get up back in the charts. And yeah, have a great week, guys. Make sure you tell it like it is.